Picture a struggling fantasy guild. The castle is falling apart and morale is low, but the guildmaster stands on the balcony, throws his arms wide, and promises salvation. He announces a massive, impossible plan. He is going to buy out the entire realm's largest auction house for a staggering 56 billion gold coins. The crowd gasps. How will he afford it? He reaches into his pocket and dramatically presents his ultimate funding source, a pair of lightly used gym socks. This absurd scenario is a real-world financial headline from the CEO of GameStop that left the internet completely baffled. The CEO of GameStop recently went on social media with an incredibly bold offer. He wanted to purchase the massive online marketplace eBay for $56 billion. The immediate result? eBay permanently banned his account. It turns out they didn't appreciate him trying to list his personal socks on their platform to pay for the corporate takeover. This animation shows a cartoon scale comparing the value of those socks, maybe $15, against an empty container holding $56 billion. The math is completely broken. So we have to ask, is this leader executing some highly complex, unconventional strategy that normal people just don't get? Or is corporate leadership dissolving into meaningless internet trolling? When corporate executives engage in bizarre public stunts, it often suggests a specific plan to change how the public perceives the company's health. In the business world, when a company wants to buy another huge company, they usually use a method called a leveraged buyout. That means they combine their own cash with a massive loan from a bank to cover the price tag. This split-screen diagram shows what banks actually look for to approve those loans. On the left side, you see detailed financial plans, real things the company owns, and realistic projections of future earnings. On the right side, a pair of socks. Personal stunt items instantly failed this basic financial test. No serious bank is going to accept internet jokes as security for a $56 billion loan. Because the math and the funding methods are entirely broken here, the CEO already knew this bid was never actually going to go through. If the goal of the stunt wasn't to actually acquire the company, the only logical reason left for doing it is to put on a theatrical performance for an audience. To understand why he's performing, we need to look away from the loud internet chatter and examine the quiet reality of GameStop's physical stores. This chart shows a downward trend in the total number of stores they have across the country. The company is actively struggling to find a new path forward, and they are quietly closing hundreds of locations. But if you launch a confusing, viral news story about buying one of the biggest tech companies in the world, the search results suddenly change. You bury the negative headlines about store closures under a wave of airnet memes. Think of it like a magician's smoke bomb. Generating loud, absurd internet hype is a highly effective way to hide actual business failures from everyday investors who might otherwise notice the shrinking business. This GameStop executive didn't invent this tactic. He is simply copying a blueprint established by other eccentric tech billionaires who have learned how to move financial markets using social media posts. The most obvious inspiration is Elon Musk, a CEO who uses internet trolling and memes to generate intense loyalty and push up the value of his companies. The assumption here is simple. If the GameStop CEO acts like a rebellious internet character, his specific audience of loyal retail investors will cheer him on and buy more stock to support him. This behavior is a calculated choice. It is an attempt to turn meme culture into financial support, prioritizing short-term internet hype over actual long-term sales. But this specific stunt ended quickly. eBay completely rejected the attempt and shut down the CEO's account. And the internet community didn't blindly follow along either. Across online forums, investors identified the behavior as unhinged, with many calling him out as a grifter. There is also a much broader danger here. Market regulators take a very dim view of corporate leaders making fake acquisition announcements just to manipulate stock prices. This kind of behavior damages a leader's reputation. When a failing company actually needs large banks or professional business partners to survive, those partners are going to look at the history of internet trolling and walk away. The tactic backfired. Instead of looking like a financial genius, the CEO signaled to the entire world that his company is unstable. There is a stark difference between empty internet hype and solid business basics, like creating real products and growing revenue. To protect yourself as an investor, always look at what a company is physically doing in the real world, rather than whatever distraction its leadership is posting online. In the modern stock market, when a corporate leader relies on memes, internet hype, and dirty socks instead of a solid business plan,